Hi everyone, this is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. Hope you guys are keeping well. Hello to my existing subscribers and hello to any new ones. So these are the brand new Razer Opus headphones. They are THX certified. I'll explain what that means. So in this video, I'm going to go through the importance and relevance of the THX, do that quite quickly. Talk about the headphones themselves, what you get on them, how they work, how they function, and how they sound playing music, listening to music, how they sound when you have calls, is there any latency when you're watching videos, that sort of stuff, and how they compare to others, and finally might wrap up on these. So let's take a closer look at the headphones. Now, on the box, you can see it gives you a load of information there. It tells you get a premium carry case inside, which is this. This is the premium carry case that you get, which is quite nice. You also get a few leaflets and a sort of quick start information thing there. In the leaflets, you get this booklet that tells you how to use them properly, all the features. You also get a lovely Razer sticker there, which I quite like. I thought it was quite nice. This is the midnight blue colour. The headphones here, as you can see, they fold as well. I'll come back to those in a second. So these particular headphones, they are THX certified, and if you haven't heard about THX before, this is a globally recognised sort of quality assurance, consistency and performance, and THX has taken the audio world by storm when it came out just over a year ago now, maybe even 2 years now, with THX certified headphone amplifiers that just had the most amazing measurements. I mean, absolutely lots of power, phenomenal measurements across the board, and that's what's happened with these headphones. Razer haven't got garish branding on them. All you've got here is the Razer logo there, and it's on that side. These are quite nice lifestyle products. They're not, I love this midnight blue, it's very subtle. They do probably look black, but in certain light, there's that shade of blue that comes through. So I would actually go with this midnight blue, as it's called. It is a very nice colour. These do have active noise cancelling. They have 4 mics to help with that active noise cancelling, and I'll tell you how that works as well. They weigh about 265 grams, so they're quite light. There's 2 40mm drivers. So with talking about the THX process, they have to be, first of all, developed according to the THX specifications. There's a multitude of tests done to perform and ensure quality. They then have to pass and be THX certified. They're mass produced, and then when they're mass produced to these precise specifications, the product is tested for QA to make sure they're still delivering on everything they had at the start. So really important, and that means that the frequency response on these ensures that the high frequency vocals and bass levels are well balanced. These are not bass heavy headphones. These are proper audio grade headphones that cost £200 with active noise cancelling, and I think you'd be quite surprised by what they sound like. And it also means that the distortion, the important bit about the THX, is that even at when you play about high resolution content or at higher volumes, you don't get unwanted distortion on these. It's a very clean sound, and that does have some might give you some drawbacks, which I'll explain when I talk about sound quality, in particular volume. But first of all, I'll just show you what this box looks like. Sorry, the carry case. So inside the carry case, there's a divider here, like so, and there's a little USB thing here, which is USB-C, it's an adapter. So what you get, it comes with a 3.5 millimeter cable, so you can plug these in and use them as wired. And I've tested them wired, and I'll talk about how they sound wired as well. This is lovely. So this is USB-A to USB-C, because the cable you get here, which is to help with charging them, inside this little pouch, all the cables come in this little pouch, they all fit in here. This is just, take the little rubber band off. So this is USB-C to USB-C, it's a shorter cable, but as I said, if you needed to charge them in a computer or somewhere where you've got USB-A only, they do give you that adapter. That's quite nice. Also in the case, there is another adapter, should you be flying and you need the airplane adapter, you've got that, so you can plug the 3.5 cable in there. So for travel, they've got you sorted. And so it's a hard case as well, so that's really nice. So let's talk about the headphones a bit more. You can see the pads, they're nice and soft. I'll put them on my head a second, make sure I've got them that way around. So here you go. They're very comfortable, and even just putting them on, the amount of passive noise cancellation, I really can't hear a lot of noise around me because it does cut out a lot. So they do work very well just without the noise cancelling on. So on one ear cup here, you have you've got the mics, you've got USB-C input, you've got the headphone 3.5mm goes in there, you've got the on-off switch, and then you've got the active noise cancelling on and off. Now when you're wearing these nice, these buttons, if someone comes up to you and they want to talk to you, if you press and hold when these are actually on, that noise cancelling on off switch, if you press and hold, it just temporarily lets the outside, lets you hear what everyone's saying so you can talk, opens up to the outside world, and then when you finish talking or hearing what you wanted to hear, you release it, and then it goes back to the noise cancelling mode. On the other side, apart from all the various mics that they have, you do have here your volume up and down, and then your center button. Now with these buttons here, obviously if you just tap and press the volume, it goes up in short stages, but if you press and hold the volume up and down, it increases volume in a quicker and moves it forward, accelerates it forward in much bigger stages. The button here is great because it does your usual thing. It does your play, pause, it does accept, reject calls, put call on hold. If you press and hold it, you'll call up your system. If you then double press or triple press, you can go backwards or forwards on the track. That works really nicely. So these swivel and they fold really nicely for transport, and then go in the case. Now, as I said, these do have the 4 mics to help with the calls. So what do they sound like if you're making telephone calls? So I've done a number of telephone calls. I've used them on video conferencing calls, on traditional telephone calls, and they sound all right. They are not epically sounding the best out there, but I could hear them, they could hear me. It was, I would say, you know, people wouldn't suddenly think, oh my God, you sound awful. Not at all. They're good, but there are ones that sound excellent. But again, very acceptable, and I was quite happy that I could use these, and I would use these because they did sound okay. In terms of the noise cancellation, well, they do work rather well actually. So I said, just putting these on now, I can't hear the wind that's coming through the doors over there. You might hear it because the mic's picking it up, but you can't. It's a very windy day, but when I put these on, just without even switched on, I cannot hear that. If I put the washing machine on or have a noise like an airplane engine and then turn the ambience down, it cuts out quite a lot of that noise, but you still will hear that some of the high pitch on the vote treble occasionally come through. So it's not a complete dead noise cancelling headphone, but I think ultimately you do need to be aware slightly of your surroundings. So I quite like these. So now I'm going to talk about how they work with watching videos and the lip sync stuff. Yeah, no problems there at all. These are only Bluetooth 4.2. I wish they were Bluetooth 5. That predominantly would impact the range. They, in terms of codecs, they have aptX, they have AAC, they have SBC, but they don't have aptX HD or LDAC. So they don't go up to the higher Bluetooth codecs. But they do have this THX certification. So what do they sound like? Well, this is where it gets interesting, because if I turn these on, these are now connected to my Android phone. And on because I have the latest Android phone, it does tell me what the battery level is on the phone. But these have an app, the Opus Razer app, and I'll just connect to headphones. So on the app, you can see, bring that a bit clearer, that you have various options in terms of the equalizer modes. So I leave it on THX because that's obviously what they want you to have it on. If you have it on amplified, you can see how it's lifted the equalizer settings. Vocal is to give you clearer vocals, enhanced bass like so, and enhanced clarity. Now, in my testing, the THX is the most accurate sounding. These are not V-shaped headphones. If you have enhanced bass, yes, it does bolster the bass, but at the detriment to the ultimate volume. But because they go through about having absolute crystal clear sound and no distortion, when you turn the volume very high, you might think actually the volume isn't as loud as you might want it to be. I think it goes plenty loud enough, plenty loud enough, because there's no distortion. And that's a really clever thing they've done there. There's also, you can use this to update the firmware. It did have a firmware. There's also here, you can have the auto shut off and you can have the various settings there. You can also turn off the auto pause and resume. So when you take these off, it does actually stop the music. Now, in terms of other features, it would be nice if you could toggle the noise cancellation on and off. It'd be nice if you actually had a battery percentage in the app. The firmware, I think, needs to be updated, or this app needs to be updated, because in terms of connecting, the best way is pair these first using the traditional Bluetooth settings on your phone, then go into the app and it should find them, connect, and it brings everything up. There was a bit of confusion on several devices where it added it twice. I'm not worried too much about that. That's just simply a bit of software that needs fine tuning. There is here a battery icon, but I wish that was a percentage. So that should be quite an easy thing to change. So in terms of these different sound settings, they all do slightly different things, but there's no custom option. But at least you can upgrade the firmware. And I said, when out of the box, it did have a particular update. Now, in terms of how they sound, vocals are very clear. Bass is there, but it's not enhanced. You might think Razer will come up with some, really super duper V-shaped headphones. No, these are what I would call neutral headphones with a tiny amount of extra bass. They're relatively flat, and that makes them enjoyable for listening for longer periods of time. And if the music and the tracks you have a lot of impact, dynamics, these will pick them up no problem, but they won't add anything to them. So if you play high-res music through this, it's like FLACs, stream FLACs across to these. Again, they just sound better and better and better. But you can plug these in with wired, and I did test them wired as well. And again, they sound even better, obviously, when they're wired. Quite surprised, actually, how much better and how much oomph I could get out of these. So overall, I'm really impressed with these. They are nice to have a pair of headphones that don't distort at high volumes, don't distort with high-res music, and are reasonably priced, and a very good alternative what's out there. Any questions, ask me below. This is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets, and catch you guys soon. Bye for now.